Is the SCUFF Reflex controller for your PlayStation 5 a good long-term investment, or are there better, more suitable options out there? Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. We're nearing the end of our long-term test of the SCUFF controller. This is the mid-tier controller for the PlayStation 5, which is made and sold by SCUFF Gaming. All SCUFF controllers for the PlayStation 5 feature their proprietary 4-back button system. This comes with a user mappable 4 back buttons that can be mapped to any of the buttons or features on this controller, any of them, including the R3 and L3 functions, which is wonderful. It also has a profile switcher, so you can save each game profile to the profile setting. There's 3 memory modes in total, so once you've mapped it, you can switch between them. That way you don't have to remap all 4 buttons for if you're switching the game that you're playing. So the SCUFF Reflex comes with the back paddles, and that's about it. The SCUFF Reflex Pro comes with the back paddles and also this grippy back, which is, it's nice. It actually feels good in your hands. The Reflex FPS takes out the adaptive triggers and it takes out the haptic feedback. It makes for a much lighter controller. What they throw back in there are clicky triggers. So you don't have as much throw in the buttons here, but you still do have the remappable back paddles. Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. So the base model is $199 US. The Reflex Pro is $229.99. And the Reflex FPS is $259.99. That sounds like not a bad deal, but once you go through the checkout, there's so many extra fees that this controller, which started at $229 US, after shipping came out to about $260 US, and with the exchange rate and then extra fees on top of the extra fees that I still don't even understand, this particular controller was 360 Canadian dollars. That's how much money was charged to my credit card before this controller shipped. $360. Now I talked about it in another video. That's a lot of money. So much, in fact, that I actually purchased an Xbox Series S, a current gen gaming system with controller for $300, which is $60 less than this entire controller. And I have to consider the price of the controller when I'm talking about all of the other things that this controller does well and what it doesn't do well. Because for me, I'm not rich. I can't just toss almost $400 on a controller if it doesn't do something special for me. So what does this controller do that's special? What is the competition? I will get to all of that. But what are my impressions of this controller? If I take the price away, if I take how much I spent on this controller totally away, and I just sit down in front of my PlayStation and I use this controller, this is a very nice controller. All of the features on it work awesome. The remappable buttons are awesome. The profile switcher is awesome. The responsiveness is exactly what you're used to with your PlayStation 5. The fact that it doesn't have the clicky triggers, that's a concern for me actually, because I've gotten used to clicky triggers and I don't think I would ever want to go back. I realize that that is a personal preference thing. It is not the fault of SCUFF, because SCUFF does offer a controller that has clicky triggers. So for someone like myself, and if you like clicky triggers too, then there is a controller for you. But at $259, that one will cost $400. This controller is very high quality. Everything about it is high quality. This entire controller, if you've seen my teardown of this controller and you've seen my other reviews, all of the components on this controller were actually remade. SCUFF remade everything. So they made their own molds for all of these buttons. Even like the trigger button here, it has that little honeycomb ghost camo texture to it, which it's great. But then I have to go and talk about the price again. I have to, because as a great controller, are there other great controllers? Yeah, I think there are. I really think there are. So I know this guy's been kind of sitting here taunting you, and if you've seen my other videos, you already know what this controller is all about. So we are nearing the end of our controller giveaway. I'm not giving this SCUFF controller away. It was way too much money. But this controller I built to be the SCUFF competitor. This is in every way equal to this SCUFF controller with one major advantage. It features 4 remappable back buttons as well, just like the SCUFF. This one has 4, this one has 4. The only thing this doesn't have is a profile switcher. So if you wanted to play a different game and your buttons were mapped to the wrong buttons, you would have to remap them to the buttons that you want for each game every single time. That could be a disadvantage, but really, is it really? I don't think so. This has swappable thumbsticks. So you can pop these off. You can adjust the height of the thumbsticks. If you like the dome top, you can put a dome top. If you want a concave top, you can put concave top. It's got that cool chrome red lower piece to it, which is really nice. And the biggest feature is the clicky triggers. This has the clicky triggers that I said I like. The R1, R2, L1, L2 are both clicky. It really increases your gaming capacity when you're playing your first-person shooter games. So this controller in every way is equal to that. And when I look at the two, build quality of this is not as good. The Extreme Rate products the fit and finish is not as top as what the SCUFF is. I'll admit that from the start. Like if you hold this in your hands and you hold this in your hands, this feels more premium for sure. The trigger placement feels definitely better. I prefer the trigger placement on this SCUFF controller. This just feels a lot cheaper. So then we can talk about the price because the features are the same. And I play with this controller every day. Well, not this one. I have one just like this that I play with every single day. And it works great. And I never have felt like, oh, I really wish I had a profile switcher so that I could switch between different profiles. Never thought that. But the big advantage that this has over this guy is that this controller can be built buying components online, which I'll put a link in the description for, and you can put it together in a couple hours and it'll cost less than $200 Canadian. So that's like what, $140 US versus $200 US for the base one. So I've got the fully loaded SCUFF equivalent. So it's got the clicky triggers, it's got the remappable back buttons, it's got the adjustable thumbsticks, just like the FPS SCUFF controller, which is $259. Basically, and it might be a bit of a reach here, but you could basically have 2 of these controllers for the price of 1 of these. And that's what it comes down to, 2 to 1. And when I have to think about it that way, I really struggle with the value that this controller brings. So if you are a sponsored gamer and you have lots of dollars, or if SCUFF sponsors you to use their controller, yeah, I'd use it. If they're just gonna give me controllers for free, sure, I would use this controller. I wouldn't even think twice about it. But if I have to go and work my regular job and then go and take my hard-earned money and pay for something, I don't wanna pay for this. Your money will go a lot farther right here. You know, maybe I'm not the target market for this, but I'm not sure most people are the target market. SCUFF, I wish you had an opportunity to bring this to the market for a whole lot less. Like what kind of price point? You need to have all of the controllers under $200. The base SCUFF Reflex should be $150. This one here, yeah, maybe, you know, how much does it cost you to add these grippy back textures? Add 20 bucks to the price. That's fine, $170. And then the SCUFF FPS controller, make it $199, make your extra 30 bucks. But I mean, you're saving money. I don't understand it. You're taking out the haptic motors. If you're buying these components from Sony, which I believe you are, you're buying the motherboard, you're buying the haptic feedbacks, you're buying the adaptive triggers, you're buying all of that stuff from Sony, you're getting it in a box, and then you're reaching into the box, pulling out the components you need, and screwing it onto your own proprietary shell. You're not taking those haptic motors out of that bin, that parts bin, to put in your FPS controller. That's gotta save you like $5. And you're leaving it out. And then you're putting clicky triggers in. I suspect that the cost to manufacture the Pro controller is the same as the cost to manufacture this one, once you cost it all out. So that $30 that you can charge is pure profit. Make the money on the pure profit ones. Get the price to where it needs to be so that true gamers can experience this controller. It's a wonderful controller on its own, but the price deters me. Now, what am I gonna do with this controller? That's a good question, because I've got it, and I'm saying that I like this better anyway because the cost. So the reality for me is I'm actually gonna box this controller back up. I'm going to put it for sale, and somebody who really wants a SCUFF controller is going to get this. They're going to enjoy this, and I'm going to go back to my Gears and Tech branded Pro controller, which, if you haven't entered the contest, the draw is coming up very soon. We will be giving this controller away very soon. You don't want to miss out on this free controller. Free. Share it with your friends. Let them know. We'll see you again. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.